Hey guys, so I have another TiMonster talks that I want to do, and this one's gonna be different. Like it's actually gonna have some structure to it. I'm gonna like say my thoughts on the Netflix series Love Is Blind. Um, it it hooked me as a show, but it hooked me, but it was also like clear that it was like problematic and like weird and had a lot of like things that it wasn't it didn't make it made more sense that if it were titled Love is Swift than anything else. The pace at which they move at is so like fast, and I think it would have helped for a lot of the couples if they had more time to figure things out. But we're gonna go ahead and like take a look at this. The situation starts out with 30 guys and 30 girls, ladies, and then um, it basically condensed for most of the series. You only focus on the six couples that come out of it, and of those six couples, only two get married, and after their like year and a they did a reunion episode or whatever, and another one of those couples was is still together but not married. So out of the six couples, two were married, one is still together. So we're gonna go through that. So like there's some big things that you notice as a viewer that it seems like the couples are oblivious to, and you like don't know why. Um, Barnett was kind of a guy that had like three potential love interests coming into it. They were Jessica, Amber, and LC. LC was someone who was like just like him. Amber was someone that kind of freaked him out, but they had a big spark. And then Jessica was just someone who was like interested in Barnett and somebody else, Mark. Um, so, long story short, Barnett kind of says, like, he tells Jessica that if there were no one else in the experiment, that he could see them, like, walking out of the experiment together, which Jessica took that as, oh, he's ready to propose. No, he basically just said if no one else existed, I'd consider it. But then, basically, the next day after he said that, he says he doesn't know how he's feeling. Jessica calls him an F-boy, whatever, talks behind his back. And then Jessica goes and claims her consolation prize as Mark. Barnett moves on with Amber. But yeah, so that brings us to our next couple, Jessica and Mark. Mark is such a nice guy, it hurts to like see him get bodied by Jessica the way that he does. Like, this girl basically takes advantage of him throughout the series. It's clear to most viewers that Jessica doesn't really like Mark enough to marry him, and that she likes Barnett a lot more. Jessica also constantly brings up the age difference between her and Mark. Mark is 24, she's 34, so a 10-year age gap. Barnett's only 3 years older than Mark, but she really doesn't mention the age gap with him at all. So that's just really interesting, kind of baffling to me. But basically, throughout the series, you can see like subtle jabs she's trying to take to try to like see if she can still have a chance with Barnett. And in the reunion, it's clear that Amber still kind of is kind of mad at what Jessica was trying to do throughout this series, and she was kind of oblivious to it until she saw the footage. And then you have, let's see, which other, Kenny and Kelly. It's kind of a similar thing, although Kelly she's not toying with anybody, but she just seems like a person that doesn't completely know what she wants. Later on, she does explain that she friend zones a lot of good guys because she doesn't end up getting infatuated with them. But it's clear that Kenny is also one of the good guys. Their whole connection is pretty boring, to be honest. But yeah, Kenny. Let's see what else. Basically, Kelly refuses to she keeps on saying she doesn't want to have sex because she doesn't want to mess up the situation they have, which is interesting because she's not saving herself for marriage or anything like that. Her word choice makes it seem like she just isn't interested in having intercourse with this guy. So for that reason, I was like, yeah, dude, she already don't want you. She's gonna I already knew she was gonna say no at the wedding because she just really does not she's clearly done it before. She just doesn't want to do it with you. Marriage isn't gonna change that. So they were one of the couples that didn't get married in the end. Same with Jessica and Mark, obviously. Barnett and Amber are married. And then we have Gianna and Damien. Not Gianna. Giannina. Gianna Bryant Rip. But Giannina and Damien. So this one is interesting. Damien, a lot of the times in this series, has this kind of face where he's not giving you readable information with his facial expressions. It's pretty weird. But then when he gets emotional, it's clear that he's emotional. But basically their relationship was hot and cold. Sometimes they'd be the most in love couple in the series, but then other times they'd be what the heck? Are they having why are they at each other's throats all the time? It was one of those relationships. So it's clear that they worked as a couple to an extent, but to me, I was expecting them to not get married, but I didn't. The person who said no was surprising to me. So it was actually Damien who said no to Giannina, which it kind of seemed like Giannina was gonna say no to Damien, which in the reunion episode Damien did say that he was expecting Giannina to say no, and they just walk out together after he said no as well. But yeah, they weren't, it was clear that they weren't ready, not that it was completely incompatible and impossible to salvage. Yeah, so we go from that to, we've discussed them, we discussed them. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot about Carlson and Diamond. So Diamond is a power dancer for an NBA team, I can't remember which one. And Carlton, who in the show, comes out as bisexual. He doesn't tell Diamond until after they're engaged that he's bisexual. and of course she doesn't know how to handle that situation as well as she could, and it was just the the situation that ensued from him finally telling her led to them just like ending the situation or ending the relationship. In the reunion episode, they seem to be a little more receptive to each other, but it's still like it was still a really bad situation that was created from that. So that, needless to say, it didn't work out, which is why I almost forgot about them. And then the final one, probably the relationship that was the most likely to succeed, I think, from like episode 1 was Lauren and Cameron. It was clear that these guys had an emotional connection to each other that worked out really well. And even with that emotional connection, Lauren wasn't like 100% like she wasn't 100% likely to say yes on the wedding day, and she did express that to Cameron, which made him feel less at ease than he wanted to be. But it was clear that they kind of connected, and it was clear that I feel like they were the right people. They were the right person for the other person. Um, so that made sense, and it's good to see that they're still going out. It's weird. Cameron was like living in what, a 2 or 3 bedroom house alone, which is like, how, why? But yeah, basically he does explain that he wanted to fill that house sooner rather than later. So I guess he was just like prepared for the situation. But usually, like, a couple gets into a relationship, then you find a home. You don't like have a home and then say, I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah, I don't really have any other thoughts. It was a good show. If there's a season 2, I'll probably watch it. Because I like the premise. Now, I do think there's some times where they kind of try to hammer home the love is blind concept way too much. Like, the officiants at the wedding are saying is love. You guys can decide if love is truly blind. Like, what officiant would say that? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Uh, that's all I have to say. And you already know what time it is. TiMonster talks to Plane. Hey, how's it? How's it going? You guys, I'm not noticing any major changes. Most of y'all aren't too bad yet. But have you guys been noticing what's been coming out about Bill O'Brien, head coach of the Houston Texans? Man, guys from like years ago are talking about how like he wasn't letting them see the field. He basically ruined their careers. Yeah, Braxton Miller and Jalen Strong. Yeah. I don't know what to do about this team. The Houston Texans are always as close to no cigar team. You feel me? You smell me? Like, when a team is like good, but like not good enough to like get anywhere in the playoffs, that's the Houston Texans. We need to fire Bill O'Brien. We've needed to fire him for the past 3 seasons, but we need to fire him now more than ever. Okay. It's been nice talking to you. Talking at you.